No, they're not available. They don't have it. I'm like, oh, come on, man. This is this is not good. So I got it to where the thing was on one day, and now I just leave it on, and I plug and I unplug the cord. There's my switch. So that was
Mm,
the only thing that I wasn't happy about with them. The customer service wasn't that great on that.
mm.
So other than that, yeah, I do. They're like I said, they're like the Etsy of the internet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've got a few things from them, and like I said, I've been very pleased. Never.
I'm always very leery because now there's that other company. There's another one out there now. It pops up all the time. I can't think of the name of it. It's another Chinese company that
Timu.
just yes, thank you. That
What was
sells
it?
Timo. They
Timu.
just sell
Oh,
everything. And I'm always leery when I see one because I don't see like how long are they going to be in business.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can get stuff delivered here. They can't because
Don't worry. By next week, we won't have that problem because nothing's going to be delivered.
already they're
right
saying
over,
already that
guys. Where you been?
what was that? You
Huh.
sounds like you were talking through a harmonica, Jim.
Yeah,
Say that again.
the connection isn't good. The strike's over.
Is it?
The
Yeah,
strike is over.
Yeah, they put a temporary thing until January 15th.
I hadn't heard that. Okay, good, good.
Wow.
Yeah, we were talking about that. My wife and I was saying, you got to realize something. This country is built on labor, hands and boots on the ground, and unions became the cornerstone of that whole thing. And you're not gonna break that. I mean, there's so much money that flows through the unions, and there's voting blocks, and it gets so deep, and then it gets once it gets into the politics. Um, but you talk about automation, and you look at Japan and China and how their automation works, and it's phenomenal. It's like a marvel the way it works, and it works flawlessly. But you don't need as many people, working. That's the
Yeah.
problem. So, you
Well,
know,
the problem, and like I said, I ran through this not too long ago. I ordered something and I get the wrong thing, and I order something, I get the wrong thing, and so finally, you're like, you look on your invoice, and it's got the right part number, but it's the wrong part.
right,
And so you go along and you're like, hey, there's a issue here, somebody needs to go down and look in this bin because it's not right. And of course, when you have automatic or a robot or some a self pulling the stuff, and there's supposed to
right.
be a guy at the end of the line that's supposed to check, but they're like, oh, these things never have a problem, so it's just lick a stamp, put a thing on it, and send it off.
Uh huh.
And you're like, well, that's where it falls apart, and it's
I just had that
unfortunately.
happen this week. The cruise, I always complain about the plastic cooling and evap
Yeah.
hardware. Well, what was I doing? I was changing the O2 sensor the other day, and just changing the O2 sensor, I had to get the big 7/8 wrench on there, and I just brushed onto this. It's the coolant recovery hose that goes from the overflow tank into the upper hose, and it separated and was dripping. I'm like, you son of a biscuit! I see. So I take it apart, take the clip off, and I see that the hose kind of went into itself. I can see where it's supposed to be one piece, but if you put it back together and put the clip on, it kind of stayed in place. So I said, you know what, I'm going to order a hose. So I looked online, found a part number, and I ordered it through Amazon. It was like $13. So it comes in, and I go to install it, and I saw right away the end that had to fit into the fitting. The diameter was wrong. It was too small. I was like, this is not right. It's the right part number, but it's not the right hose. So I issue a return. They take it back, and it should be a credit. And I told them, I said, this is the right part number, but it's the wrong hose in the bag. You need to look at this. So now I ordered the correct one, which I got in, and we'll see. That probably just goes right back on the shelf somewhere.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Well, again, some of the especially with Amazon and all these companies, they're third party involved. I mean, they're not
Right.
even, they're just, it's just like a telephone game. They're just passing right down the pipeline to the next person.
Sure.
And we had, I remember that one time this was years. I mean, this was long. This is when I worked in the auto parts store. The U joints I kept trying to get for my Mustang.
Uh-huh.
You order, you wait for the warehouse, they come, you're like, well, this ain't it. Of course, it's by at first you can't you can't eyeball that right away, but by the third time, as soon as the guy came in the door, you're like, that's wrong, dude. Take it back.
Nope.
You knew right. Instead of taking it at home because the car is sitting on jack stands at home.
Yep.
And you go back home, and that's one day down, and then
Yeah.
next thing you know, it's 3 days later, and finally you got the you ate enough carrots where you're calibrated.
The best was this is a number of years ago. I was doing brakes on one of my cars. I don't know which one. So I had jack stands on the driveway, and I said, okay, I need brakes. I walk up to the store because I can do that, and give me a set of pads. Come home. Took them off.
Keith is in the back. Is Keith out there?
Okay. And I went right back to the store, and my buddy's like, "What's the matter? You forget something?" I was like, "No, here." I put the box on the counter.
Guys.
And he says, "No, you don't have to bring back the return or court. There's no court charge on this." He goes, "And how'd you do the brakes that fast anyway?" I said, "I didn't." I said, look in the box. And in the box was 4 used brake pads. He says, "I told you didn't have to bring these back." I said, "I didn't." I said, "This is how I opened the box." And he was looking like, "I bet you I know what happened." He goes, "I bet you." He goes, "I had to get these out of a warehouse. Somebody returned used brake pads and got the money back. Nobody checked what was in the box, puts it back in stock. It gets back to the warehouse. Now we draw it out of the warehouse, and this is what we got." So somebody beat the system, and I said, "Yeah, well, it ain't going to be me. So give me a good pair."
And then he had to wait again, right? Because he had to get him out of the warehouse.
I think, you know what it was? It was the day before that I ordered them, and I think it was either for my Mazda or the Cruiser. It was a common enough car where he probably ordered like 2 or 3 sets.
Yeah.
So he did have a set there. So I was okay.
I had that happen with a computer.
Did you?
Yeah. And the bad thing is when I got it, I glanced at it, didn't really look at it. And it was about 3 weeks before I had time to mess with it. And I'm like, something ain't right here. And when I went to take it back, we went round and round. I mean, I told him, I said, look, I've been a customer since 96. I said, look in your system. How often do I return stuff? I said, that should tell you I'm not pulling a scam. I mean, we went round and round for quite a while. And I went across the street to the competitor and I said, look, I just want the car to run. The ECU shot. And
it was a car. I thought you meant it was a home computer.
No, it was a car.
Oh, I was going to say, listen, I'm trying to get I'm trying to get Redfin up here, and I just keep getting redheads, and I don't know why. Oh, that's Brian's
my problem.
Yeah, you got Brian's computer.
You got my computer.
By mistake.
Yeah, you got my problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lewis, how's everything?
Everything's good. I got mom's home and got her back in the rack. So she's
Nice.
doing good.
Hey, what are you gonna do? I was just sitting there with my wife today. We were out having something to eat, and I was telling her, I said, "Yeah, Lewis pretty soon is gonna be getting in that bus. Him and his wife are gonna be going out and hitting the road and following the sun." And she's like, "Man, how are they gonna do that?" I said, "I know." I said, "I've been trying to wrap my head around that too. It's like we're in our houses every day, but we go out.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be taking your house with you. It's like you got to really like that place."
And I'm towing my truck behind it.
Oh, I'm gonna tow the truck. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So actually, I'm building it like my house. Like everything is built to what we like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, we agreed that it takes a special kind of people to do that, and yeah, and time will tell. I don't think we could do it. I don't think we could do it.
You
You know,
know,
as a part-time thing, sure. No, it's like having a motorhome. But
well, here's our thought. We don't have nothing to do but go see stuff. I don't
Right.
have to be back at a certain time. You know, I can go sit in Arizona for a month,
Yeah.
2 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can, you know, whatever.
right.
If I have a car show and I have an event, I'll just drive to the event because they pay my travel. So I'll just drive
Right.
there, do my thing, and you know, keep it moving.
Right.
Well, and if he needs to go back home, he's just gotta stay where he's at because he's in
Yeah.
his home.
Yeah, and if we have an emergency back home here, I can park the bus at a storage unit and drive to the airport, jump a plane.
Yeah, true.
You know,
Yeah, it's going to be
That makes
interesting
sense.
living vicariously through you. You know,
Yeah,
'cause that's
mean-
quite a trip, quite an ordeal.
that's our plan. We might not like it. We might be back home in a month.
Yeah.
I get that. I get that. Sure.
You
Like I
know?
said, you'll know it when you know it.
Yeah, don't come to Arizona in the summer because then you'll rush back home. I want you to have fun.
I tell you something, I'd be iffy about coming to Arizona in the winter, from what I've been hearing.
Yeah. Believe me, I'm putting some monster mini splits in this joint. I'm putting one in the front and the back.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
So I'm not trying to be hot or cold.
Yeah.
So, you know, the other thing is like I think about like dealing with finance and all. Like, you know, I mean, you still have the address. You still have the address in Ohio where you can have stuff sent. So that's good.
Mhm. Yep.
But,
So what I did is I eliminated all my debt, like any loans, any of that
that's
stuff.
the way to
The house-
retire, man. That's the way to go out.
Yeah, the house is paid off, so I'll let my daughter live here. She's gonna pay rent.
Yep.
You know, I pay the insurance and the taxes, you know, stuff like that.
Right. Tell her just deposit it in this account every month.
Yeah, and we don't have any electric bill, gas bill, water bill.
Yeah.
We have none of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She'll pick up the utilities at the house.
Yeah. So
Right.
really, all I'm really paying for is food, travel, and insurance. You know, health insurance for me.
Fuel.
The worst case scenario is that if you don't like it and you come back, it's like now you got to find a place to live.
Yeah. I'll just buy some land with a garage on it. Pull the bus
Yeah.
in. You know what I
There you
mean?
go. There you go.
Yeah, I'm not scared to live in this thing.
Excellent.
Got a queen size bed in the back. Got
Yeah.
TVs on both ends. You know, I mean, we're ready.
Good test of a relationship.
Hopefully, you got the extra storage for the baby oil, right?
Yeah.
Ah,
Let's swing by P. Diddy's.
Yeah, right.
That was my pitch. That was my pitch today. We had a 20-piece back probing assortments for electrical testing for back
Mhm.
probes, and that was my pitch on the guys. I said it was the P. Diddy back probing kit, and if you purchased and then mailed in the receipt, you got your free 8-ounce baby oil. So that went over pretty good today. I sold all 15, so that was a good.
Nice.
That was a good sell pitch. They said, Brian, I don't know where you come up with this stuff, dude. You come up with some crazy shit.
So that's all right. Don't worry. When you actually try to mail that shit in, you find out I was really just pulling your chain.
Yeah, well,
yeah, you're not getting.
That's
so
funny.
You should get some little
next
bottles-
week I might have to stop off and get baby oil if
I was gonna
anybody
say, you
asks.
should get
if
some
I
little
get it.
bottles of baby oil and put them on the shelf and say, "Yeah, I'll give you the rebate. I got it here."
And then I had one guy once I talked about the back probing and the P digitalling. He kind of left the truck. He was a little scared. He was a little smaller guy, and with me, he was like, I don't like being on the truck by myself with you, and kind of walked off.
Ah,
I was like, damn, dude, that was rough.
Nice.
Come back, man. Give me a hug before you leave, at least, dude.
Give me more
Come
protection
on.
against the tool man.
Yeah, no love at all for me. Sheesh.
Wow.
Hey, Coach, how far are you from Court Site?
I'd have to look it up on a map, but
What
I
is
think
Quartzsite?
Quartzsite's closer to California. Is that where they have that bus thing? That,
Yeah,
that
Schoolie
school
Palooza.
thing? Yeah, I think that's closer to Havasu. Let me pull it up. I think I've driven through there, but it was in the middle of the night.
Yeah, they that's in February, the first week of February. So we'll probably be there around then.
Let's see.
Man, I'm gonna need the Lewis Lee itinerary here. You're gonna be all over the place. We can follow you on the Travel Channel.
We'll have be like the in our county school has an app where they follow all the buses and it has all the specs on it. We need to have the Lewis app so that we can just follow where you're at and make sure you're not sneaking up on anybody.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I'm gonna keep doing the YouTube channel as we travel. So everywhere we go, we'll be, posting stuff on the YouTube channel.
that's up by Havasu by California. Let's see if the oh no, don't do that. I'm trying to show you the map. I don't know. I'm not quite Dora the Explorer. I don't know if the map will.
Yeah, it's just
That's a map.
Yeah,
Yep.
map.
can't read it.
Quartzite's right there. I'm way over here. It's trying to.
So you're probably what, 100 couple hundred miles?
Yeah, I'm approximately. If you're headed there and you go down I-10, you're gonna go right by me.
Okay.
Because Quartzite's off I-10. So if you come through New Mexico on the I-10, you'll go through Tucson and then up through Phoenix, and Quartzite's west of Phoenix. But it's hour-wise, I want to say it's probably about 3 to 4 hours for me.
So I gotta pass you to get to it, right?
If you're on the I-10, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the I-10's the main freeway that goes through Arizona.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a bunch of different highways depending. So if you came through Colorado or whatnot, or into Utah, there's a bunch of different highways that come down, and you could either cut down through Flagstaff into Phoenix, or you could cut through from the Four Corners. I forget the state route, but you would come through a couple towns called Sholo and Pine Top, and then you could work your way down into Tucson. But I'll
probably do the 10 because I want to get away from the winter.
Yeah.
So if I come downhill, come across.
Yeah, that's right. Because because if it's in February, you'd be coming through the snow.
Yeah.
Up there, so the 10 would probably be the best. But before you come, like when you're getting into New Mexico, make sure you message me or call me. I can try and keep an eye on the weather or get you on the weather app, because there's a section of I-10, and it's roughly, if you remember that area you messaged me about that you were looking at land, where the 10 goes through there. It's somewhat flat, and they have a lot of dust storms and a lot of wind issues. So right for about, I want to say a good 50 miles or so, you want to be cautious. I mean, drive normal, but if it starts not feeling right, just take it easy. Yeah. Because that's where they have a lot of pileups and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep that on the list.
But I mean, it's not horrible. It's just people, if they're not used to driving in that area and don't know. I mean, I would say it's probably more so during the summer and the monsoons, but sometimes with the winter storm, it can happen.
Yeah. I'll keep that in mind. You guys were talking about cabinets and stuff in your garage. And I put wheels on everything too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Me too.
Yeah, when they had I hate to say it because I'll probably be recorded and videotaped and they'll be thrown back at me, but when Harbor Freight has their furniture dollies on sale, dude, I buy a handful of those things.
I bought a couple of the real small ones.
Yeah, they got the small ones and they got the large ones.
Yeah,
and and man, I tell you, my 1946 Craftsman drill press. That thing is stands 7 feet tall. I got it on a furniture. I bolted it to a furniture dolly, and and I move when I need to do the drill press. I roll that out. The only thing I changed on that was I took one of the casters, or actually two of the casters, and I changed the casters and put locking ones on it. So when I roll it out from the back,
Okay.
I put locks on it, and I can do my drilling with that. So
Nice.
Yeah,
Speaking
yeah.
of that, Brian, I got something on a lark a couple of weeks ago when the guys at the shop bought that Le Mans, and the guy said take all the automotive stuff with it. There were a couple of floor jacks,
oh yeah.
and one of them
Oh, was your jack? It was the right floor. Was the right size?
a snap-on floor jack. The only problem is these were frozen, and they actually have flat spots on them from dragging the jack.
Oh, wow.
Oh shit! Really?
But I put them in some rust dissolve, and I got all the rust off, and I got them in a bin. They're all nice and clean now, and I got the wheels freed up, but they do have a little flat spot on each wheel from just dragging it.
Yep.
But though it's better than the chunks that are missing out of the ones I have. So
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, like I said, everything's got wheels on it, and if it doesn't have, like I said, I got a it's not a file, it's a 2-door cabinet with 4 shelves in it. It's like a locker or whatever cabinet, and I got that on Seahorses right now. I'm making a frame for it. I'm actually doing it out of metal instead of wood. I'm making a metal frame with I took a toolbox in on trade, and there was nothing really left of the toolbox, but the casters are really nice, and I'm putting the casters on, but I made it out of a metal frame.
I meant to take a picture of that tool cart and send it to you the other day. I was working on that damn truck. I'll be there tomorrow. I'll get a picture of it tomorrow.
You guys were mentioning the casters or the furniture movers from Harbor Freight. I got one of those garden carts or whatever, the ones that have the mesh sides to it and they fold down and it's flat. Yeah. I went and picked one up over the summer for my football equipment because the school has gotten like old grocery baskets donated to us, and we've used that to drag across the field with stuff. And the casters on the grocery carts are not that good in the grass.
Oh,
Right.
And I'm so tired of doing that. So I went and bought one of those carts from Harbor Freight. I was really happy with it. In fact, we're going to be with doing that. The athletic director likes it, and we're probably going to get a couple more.
Come on, coach. That's building your glutes, man. It's building your butt cheeks. Come on, man. We gotta get that thing so you can work that field a little harder, man. Come on.
yeah.
Right.
We got a 5-man sled. I could use that instead. I don't want it.
You gotta pop that thing. Come on, man.
Yeah, right. No, I've been happy with that cart, man. We throw the tackling dummies in it. We throw the dummies that go on the 5-man sled, and we can roll that stuff across the
Hey, if it was like Animal House, you'd be throwing the cheerleaders in there.
yeah.
Woo-hoo,
Yeah.
Go for a ride. Go for a ride, hon.
Now the next thing is trying to get our golf car working. So, but I was hoping to convert it to convince everybody and convert it over to a gas motor, but I kind of was not in a bad way, but I was overridden, and we got to get batteries for it. So, nice thing is one of the parents says he wants to help us locate batteries and get brand new batteries and help me do the work to get it in.
Those batteries, those 6 volt, they got what, 6 volts or 4 6 volts in it?
Six.
Yeah, those batteries are expensive. You could do it. You can convert it over to 3 12 volts. Your longevity just won't be there like the 6 volts, but it'd be a whole hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah, we need the longevity. So our former athletic director, he didn't understand that it took maintenance, and he'd plug it in and run it. And I walked into the shed one day and I said, "Hey, and he was saying that it wasn't working too well. And I said, you need to get some distilled water and check those cells. And
All dry.
he didn't really listen to me at the time. And then I said, you know that nasty smell when you roll up? And he says, yeah. I said, that's the batteries and that's hydrogen. You're a science teacher. Let's not blow ourselves up here.
Wow, he's a science teacher.
Yeah. So
Nice.
yeah, he didn't understand some of the mechanical aspect of some of the stuff. Nice guy. Don't get me wrong.
You would think.
I'm
I mean,
down.
it's funny how a guy can be in the field and totally miss something like that. It's like, he above anybody should know the smell of hydrogen
Yeah.
because it's not. It's a very standalone kind of smell.
Oh yeah. It was very distinct when you open up that roll up.
For sure.
But
Hey,
Yeah.
I got a tech question. On my Silverado, I got a airbag light, service airbag.
Oh,
Now, the guy that had my buddy that had the truck, somebody hit him in the front, like backed in at a parking lot.
oh yeah.
They put a new bumper and stuff on, so I'm thinking it's probably one of those sensors up front. Has anybody had any experiences with that?
Brian, the scanners cover that, right?
Yeah, well, you're going to need a scanner and you're going to need a C. Unfortunately, it depends. It's been a long time that for me, Ray might be a little closer, but a lot of those things, when I did, they were hardwired. The sensors were not disconnect from the airbag sensors. I mean, for the thing. When you had a problem, you replace the control unit, the harness, and the sensor because they were not hardwired. I mean, they were hardwired. There was no disconnect because they did not want to have a problem where corrosion or any kind of issue for the airbag. I don't know if that's changed over the years. I just know on the older stuff I worked on, it was all hardwired. And that's what usually ended up totaling the car because if the airbag went off, you were replacing a control unit, the harness, and all the sensors and so forth.
I have seen them at the shop because I've questioned it, like, what the hell's that spaghetti? And it was airbag stuff, so it was all in one, and they had to put it in. Yeah.
And I know that sometimes this is one of those things where, you buy a car that has the airbag light on and they take it someplace and they say, oh, well, you need the sensor. It's, $4,500 because they got to replace everything. Wow. They got to replace they got to replace the harness and the sensor and all that stuff. But they just, like I said, they put it together thinking that they put an airbag in it. I mean, they repaired it. They just never got it to work right. I mean, you might have that issue. It might have gone off and now you're looking at, replacing a sensor, which could be, sensor harness and everything else. Like I said, I don't know if they've ever changed it. I just know that during my time period, that was all hardwired.
Yeah, I think it still is.
Well, that'd be my luck.
What year is the truck?
06.
So that's
yeah. Well, my luck.
I guess one way you could do it is look up the see if you can look up the sensor and see how it comes. If it comes the whole harness,
that's good.
That
would good way
that
to
would tell you.
Yeah.
All right, guys, time for me to get out of here.
All right,
Good seeing everybody.
I like that shirt you got on.
Yeah, I get it.
Oh yeah.
Cool shirt. All right.
I'm designing some stuff with cars, some shirts, plan traffic shirts with cars and stuff on it. So they'll be coming out pretty soon.
With a school bus, one with a school bus would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put one on.
You got to put one with a lowrider caddy on it.
There you go.
Dent in the hood. In the roof.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll check see about the sensors.
Yeah. You know what? I'll ask at the shop. I'll see if Mike can give me some information on that too.
All right, appreciate it.
I
It's 06
will.
Silverado.
Let me write myself a note so I'll remember because I'll be there tomorrow. All right, so it's an 06 Silverado.
Keith, what year is your truck? You have the GMC, huh?
Yeah, 2004. It's 2004. Actually, I have two 2004s.
Yeah.
So, but it's just yours is the Chevy, so it's the Cat Eye, right? Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah, the Cat Eye.
Yeah, the
Yep.
newer style. Yeah. Yep, I like that style.
Yeah, I'm
What motor you got in it?
5.3.
Oh, I got a 6.0.
Oh, bum.
Yeah. Gas mileage, it gets like 11 miles a gallon no matter what, even if I'm towing.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's
this
it's
thing's
like,
terrible.
yeah, it sucks.
My truck is terrible, man. I can't believe it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like bad.
Is yours a crew cab?
Yeah.
Oh, crew cab with 5.3. Yeah.
You should go out and get yourself like a Toyota, like a Tundra or something to be smaller, easier to tow behind the bus, and then a lot better on gas when you want to drive it around.
Yeah, 'cause that thing is a beast. But I think I might turbo it. That'll help it out a little bit, but it's bad. I hate driving that truck.
Or you can supercharge it, get like an LSA blower on there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terry has a couple of them, but he's being stingy. He won't come off.
He still has those? Man.
Yeah, he has. I think he
You
said
need
he
to
has
let go of some of that.
2 or 3.
I'd like one of those 5.3s for the Chevelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to what's his name? Kevin Holden, and he tests all that stuff, and he says you can do whatever you want with a 5.3. You can make it a monster or whatever.
Yeah.
Shit, Lewis, I had to ask you about a guy. It just came up the other day. We've had him on the show. Oh, I got to think of what the context was now. Damn it. Nah, I ain't gonna remember.
As soon as we get off, you're like, oh,
Yeah, I'll send you a text. I got good news. We got another car came in the other day. This 67 T-Bird got a 390 in it, Brian.
Yeah.
That was everybody thought it wouldn't have a 390. Everybody's saying 428. That was a 390. Motor and tranny had been rebuilt. I drove it around the block. Drives nice. Motor's nice. Got a Holly 600 on it. Petronics distributor. Tranny shift's nice. So Mike gives me this list, the owner's list. I'm like, I didn't want to look at it. But I was very happy when I did because it said change vinyl roof. Nope, that's the other guys. Dent in hood, not me. Adjust the hood hinges, not me. Like all the stuff was body stuff. Like, none of it's for me. Like, nice.
nice.
So he says, I need you to change the harmonic balancer. I'm like, why? If the motor was rebuilt. So he showed me start the car and the balancer was like wobbling around. So he said the engine builder couldn't find one when he rebuilt the motor. So I said, well, how am I going to change it? And he goes, well, I got one coming in. I'm like, how did you get one if he couldn't get one? He's like, I don't know. I guess he didn't look in the right place.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's kind of strange, but
That's why multiple heads is better than one.
yeah.
Well, it depends. Yeah, well, that's a problem because actually, I had a shop. I can't remember what it was now. It was like it was like one of those OJ Broncos. That towards the very end, and of that full size Bronco, and it had some kind. It was a 5 liter, 302, and on the it needed a harmonic balancer, and they couldn't find one. And on that harmonic balancer, it had 4 points, like tabs on it. It looked like a star on the back of the harmonic balancer, and it had a pickup. It was some kind of spark reduction or spark
wow.
thing.
Yeah.
And of course, they were like, trying to find this harmonic balancer everywhere. And it was a guy that I had gone to school with that owns the shop. And I come in and he said, maybe Brian knows. And he goes, man, I have this. I'm trying to find this harmonic balancer so we can put this car back together. I mean, this for this truck. And I was like, well, what is it? And he said, a 302, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I snagged one out of a shop, a 302. The guy didn't want it anymore. And I snagged one out. Let me go home and look. Sure enough, it was the same one.
Wow.
This harmonic balancer. Took it over there and gave it. And he was like, dude, like, I don't know how in the world I said, it's been sitting. And he goes, well, what do you want for it? And I said, I'll never use it. I mean, I'll use if I ever use the motor, but I'm never going to use that setup or that system.
Right.
So you might, like I said, you just know somebody or you find one laying around someplace.
Yeah.
Didn't the C4 Corvettes, didn't they have something on the a trigger on the harmonic balancer as well, or was mounted behind it or something that for their ignition that when they were trying to go to distributor?
That would be a crank trigger. Yeah.
They had a crank trigger. They had the distributor was behind the water pump or whatever.
Well, that's
right?
on the LT1. The
yeah.
I have. Yeah, the LT1, it's behind them. But you could buy that aftermarket, Isaac, from like Summit. You could buy a crank trigger set up, for almost any engine.
Yeah.
But the other thing that this guy wants me to look at is the car has sequential taillights. And it looks like the electronics had been changed, but he says only one half, the left side works, the right side doesn't. Yeah. So I was trying to pull the boot off the light socket because I learned from that Mustang they got those funky sockets. I pulled the whole socket out and what's in there but a tall LED. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I said, did you change the flasher in this car? Put like a no-load flasher? And he goes, no, why? I said, well, typically when you do this and you put LEDs in either the front or the back, they'll blink real fast. The other ones will blink slow. I said, because the system's seen an imbalance in resistance. You got no resistance here. Yeah. I said, you may need a different flasher. So one of my jobs is going to be
you have to be careful putting that plug back in because it pulls out that way. That's the way it does. That's the way the same thing on my Mustang because I got 66 tail lights in mine.
Yeah,
and it has the the square light ups, but like I said, you have to. The first time I took it apart, I was like, "Oh fuck, man! Look at that! I messed this thing up." But they come out that way. You kind of have to wiggle it back in to set back in.
Well, I'll see where I get when I get to it, but it looks like all I got to do so far is the bounce. Oh, then it was funny that the shop manager was standing there. The guy just drove the car in, and then I wanted to start it, and it didn't want to start. It was like cranking slow. I said, "You got a brand new battery." So I jumped with the jump pack. Later on, the shop manager's there, and he was trying to start it. And I yelled over, I said, "No, Ron, you got to use the jump pack." So he goes against the jump pack, and before I registered, he hooked it up and went, "Wow!" and pulled back. This is a big problem I have with parts. The car has the positive battery cable to the solenoid is black, and the ground cable is red. So he hooked it up black and red, backwards, right? So he's like, I said, listen, that wasn't your fault. I said, unless you looked at the battery, which I said, truthfully, if I saw a black and red cable, I probably wouldn't check either. I would assume that was correct. I said, that's why. And I just had him get me a cable for the olds like 2 days before. I said, that's why I wanted a red cable for positive. And they didn't make it. So I told him that's why I put a big red boot on the end of it so you can see that it's red. Or I'll put a piece of red heat shrink on it to denote that it's positive. Yeah. So I said, okay, let's I got the thing started. And I said, let me get my meter. So I put my meter on the car. I said, it's not charging. We got battery voltage. We don't have charge. It's not charging. So I'm looking for the regulator. I couldn't find it. It's all the way over on the other side of the car, like behind the panel. And they hid this freaking voltage regulator. It's crazy. So I told them, get me an alternator and a regulator. So a little later on, I want to drive the car and then repark it. So I was inside cranking it. And it didn't want to start. It was like cranking and cranking. So I'm hitting the gas, and finally I held my foot on the gas and it started. It flooded. He goes, hold on. So I shut it off. I said, what's the matter? He said, there's gas shooting out of a spark plug hole. I'm like, what?
Oh wow.
So yeah, I don't know if it's number one or not, but the front left plug, he said there was, and then you could see that it was like bubbling, like where the plug was threaded into the head. He says gas was shooting out of there. I'm like, really? So I pulled the plug out. It was loose. Actually, I checked 2 plugs. They were both loose. So now I got to check them all. And I said, man, that thing, either this carburetor has a problem, it's dumping fuel, or
When the guy put it together, he put half-assed it and didn't tighten anything up.
Well, those 2 plugs that I checked, the motor was hot, so I just did. I said next time I'll do this when the motor's cold. But I took 2 plugs out and they were loose, but they were burning clean. The Petronix is burning them clean. But we got to get to the bottom of the rich issue there.
Yeah.
So it's always something.
So yeah, so battery cables. I need new battery cables for the generator.
Nice.
And I needed just regular car, but couldn't find them in the
Harbor Freight sells those.
Really, but with the battery cable on.
I saw them with plugs. Yeah, I saw them when I was in the store.
I should have looked there. So I got this also.
Mm-hmm. They sell those cables at Harbor Freight for the solar.
Right.
Oh, I should have looked there. With the Amazon. So now I got this. So I got to put this on the battery and then take this and put that on the connector.
I got a really good set of ends for the battery. They call them military grade. And what they do is it goes over the top post battery, and there's a bolt in the nut that locks it down. And in the back, there's another bolt that goes through, and that's where you put your secondary taps. So they're not on the one that clamps it. It's on the back end. Yeah. I got a pair of them off of Amazon for like $13.
Yeah.
They were...
I was looking at all kinds of different cables, and it's just for the generator. So it just has to go one on the starter, one on some ground back there. It's on the back side, so I don't even know how I'm supposed to be able to get to it. I guess I take a back panel off or something.
Yeah.
And then, because the hurricane was coming, and I'm like, I should get this generator running. It hasn't ran, and I can't remember how long. And all I did was I put some oil in it because it was low. I think that's why it wasn't running.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Then, yeah. And then put a jump box on the current battery that was there. That was the battery was totally dead. Jump box on there, and the thing started right up. I go, all right, I need a battery. And I go to take the connectors off the battery, and they just broke.
Yeah.
They were on there. It was rust rotted. It was corroded on there so bad. I was like,
Yeah.
Did you guys lose power? Did you have to use it?
No. I because I did all that, ran out, got a battery, make the cables. Yeah, no power lasted the whole time.
Yeah, had you not got all that, it would have.
Yeah, it would have. Power would have been out.
Got hit.
Yeah, I'd have to plug the house into my car or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't. It wasn't that bad. It was just a little bit of rain and some wind. We got real lucky.
That's good.
Up north, you get, all that. Those guys did not. They got hit hard.
Right. Yeah, my daughter in North Carolina, she was in the right spot where it just got rain.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Tennessee to her southwest and Asheville to her north got, decimated, but
Is she in any mountain area or
no? She's down in the Charlotte area, so it's the low lying.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, a lot of people I heard on TV, there was a lot of people who were saying, Asheville's a really nice mountain community, and people were saying a lot of them have summer houses up there, and they said when there's a hurricane coming, we go there, we go to Asheville because that's the safe ground. It's up, it's in
in a mountain, and
it ain't gonna hit us. Well,
right,
yeah, this time that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Well, don't start the conspiracy theory. We're still alive, so
yes, that's true. That's true.
Conspiracy, yeah. Let's not talk about FEMA.
I saw something. I saw
It's okay. You got $750 coming to you guys.
What happened? I caught
Yeah.
a YouTube. I saw a YouTube video
Yeah.
on my feed that said that there was an allegation that FEMA, well, no, that the feds stopped stuff that was being sent, supplies that were being sent to those areas. And I didn't watch the video. I was wondering what the heck that was all about.
Yeah.
It's because there's no illegals there.
Oh, all right.
I don't know. I'm just
Well, that was
satire.
that was the first thing. They don't have money because they gave it. They took some of the FEMA money and did it for migrant. You know, the people coming in. It's like some $1 billion or some like a tremendous amount of money, and put it towards that fund. The other thing you were talking about was like you bring a case of water. Oh yeah, I want to donate this case of water, and then FEMA goes, no, you have to take it back. It didn't come from what I watched the video. It might have been the same video that you watched, but I was watching this video, and the guy said FEMA has their own people that they work with, to their own vendors, and they can only take from those vendors.
Oh,
because they have deals with those
so
vendors. Yeah,
that's
it's bullshit.
amazing.
Yeah, so
you know what? Go to your local church or synagogue,
And so
your
that's
local,
what
or school. You donate it there.
go. Then that's what they say. Go. Don't try. You can't just go bring it to the people.
Right.
You have to go bring it to a church or somewhere else.
Right.
FEMA. And then the other thing, did you see where? I don't know if it's true. FEMA was like confiscating a bunch of stuff too. Oh, thanks. Yep. Yeah, we'll land it. And they don't. This happened in
Puerto Rico.
Remember, like a whole field of water
I
bottles.
do. And generators. We dropped generators and
They just-
and water, and the cops were taking everything for themselves.
Yeah, left
Oh,
it
look
around.
at here, Louis.
Like-
You got dormant switch. Oh, impact sensors.
So these are the airbag sensors.
Yeah.
So
So
it looks like it does connect. It has a
it's just a
connector.
connector.
Yeah. So I think I might be good.
Yeah,
So maybe
you'll just have to find somebody. It probably has to be programmed or initial,
yeah.
with a VIN number put in or something like that.
You got to get
Okay.
you got to get eyeballs on what you have and see if that's it.
We'll see if
Yeah.
you can unplug it.
Make sure. it's
sometimes I've seen some of them with the bumper off. Sometimes where that one that says MC and it's got the yellow and the numbers.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Sometimes they'll have that on there, so maybe you can cross-reference the number to make sure you get the
Well,
right.
yeah.
So you probably have to take the bumper off to see it.
Yellow, I think yellow or
Yellow is airbag, yeah.
is airbag on or orange. So it's either on the earlier cars. It used to be orange, but I
Yeah.
think orange is now hybrid
High
stuff.
voltage.
Yeah.
Yellow is airbag. So when you see yellow connectors like that, that's an airbag connector. That's how they determine. That's when you tell the new guy with the power probe to go over to that yellow connector
Ah,
and disconnect it and put power ground to it and see what happens.
nice.
I didn't really say that. I don't
Don't-
really do that.
Tell them to put something really heavy on the airbag first, and then do
And,
that.
and who do you have sitting in the driver's seat when they do that?
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
right. Yeah.
That's the key.
Punch right in the face.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, have the right person you
Yeah,
want.
I think the older cars, because I remember them being orange connectors, but I think orange has gone to hybrid and yellow is now the new orange now. So there.
Yeah,
Yeah, those
good to know.
Well,
So
I'll be taking the battery out before I mess with it.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
let it sit for about 20 minutes
Mhm.
because the capacitors are in it. They have capacitors and they'll stay active. You want to be careful.
Just take that power probe to it, check it.
Yeah. Take that. Yeah.
And it's always something.
I just got a smoke machine this week. I've got to check the evap system on my daughter's truck because it keeps throwing that code.
So you
And
bought a pack of cigarettes?
yeah, packs, yeah.
basically, yeah, an
That's
expensive
that's
pack.
old school. That's what we used to do in the old days.
I got a bunch of cigars here.
Yeah,
I need to do that on the Cadillac. I got a vac leak somewhere.
yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually, my wife got home and she said, "Are you gonna work on the car before the show and go check that?" And I was asleep. I fell asleep on the couch when I got home, and I guess in my sleep I was like, "Yeah, I'm out there doing it now."
Mhm.
and then sat up to see the show was on and time to get up and come on. So I'm gonna be working on it tomorrow, I guess.
So with the smoke machine, will it suck it in or push it out?
No, it pushes it out. I haven't hooked it up yet, but yeah, it pushes it out. Um, it has several different hoses with connectors on it, and the way you slide the hose in, and you've got it's got a nut on it. You take the nut off, you thread the hose through it, put it over the nipple, and then you tighten the nut back on it to hold it in place, and then it hooks to the battery. The power source is the battery. It's got a hanger piece on the top. You hook it up on the hood, and it's got a port on the top to fill the mineral oil in it. So, yeah, I haven't tested it yet. I got it and then got it out of the box and looked at it. Shiny new stuff.
Yeah.
That's as far as I got.
You bought this, Isaac, or you borrowed it?
Yeah, I bought it.
Where did you get it from, and what did it cost you?
So I got it off of Amazon. I was on the Car Wizard site. He's got a thing for his Amazon affiliates.
Yeah.
So I went on there because I had remembered like years ago, I watched a video where he was going over using a smoke machine, and I'd never got, I watched it, and this was years ago, and I thought that'd be cool, but I never gotten it. So I went back and looked for it, and it ran me, I want to say it was $80,
Wow,
80 to 90, and then it was I want to say another 15 or so to get the oil separately because it come with the oil.
You can use
Isn't it baby oil?
yeah, you can use baby oil.
It's a Diddy oil.
Diddy oil, yep. Yeah.
My
Some oil, some of the mineral
you
oil.
can use mineral oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, from
Oh, right, from
CVS or
CVS.
baby oil. Baby oil will have a different smell. It will have a different little smell when it's being heated to smoke up.
Yeah.
It works. Some of the oil for smoke, like I sell Redline. We sell Redline smoke machines. So I have Redline oil,
Mhm.
and some of that has a dye in it, so the residual smoke, so like you can take a black light if you can't find the smoke.
Okay.
And a lot of times sometimes it's hard to see the smoke, and
Yeah.
if you use a flashlight while you're looking, I know this sounds funny, but use a flashlight, then you can see the smoke from the flashlight.
Yeah.
And you'll help you find it. Sometimes you just won't see the smoke. It'll be so light if it's a small enough hole or area, you won't see. You'll step back. You'll say, "Oh, I can see smoke," or "I'll see the trail." But when you're looking, it's really hard. That they come with a light, a flashlight, so
Mhm.
that you can see. And then some of the stuff will have a dye, and it will leave a residual ring where it was leaking from.
Yeah.
So it'll help you find it if you can't. Because sometimes some of them are really hard to find. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not cut and dry, especially if I've used my smoke machine to find air leaks from a convertible top. I've put the smoke machine in and I changed the plug over from the battery. Instead of hooking it to the battery, I put a cigarette lighter in one end, plug it into the cigarette lighter, close up the car, and then you can see where it's got the air leak from the window or from the convertible top to find water leaks.
I kind of remember the first time I was diagnosing a leak like that, and I put the scanner on, and it gave me the code, and it said evap small leak. I was like, oh my god, if a scanner's telling me it's a small leak, this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And sometimes Like on Toyotas, especially Toyotas, some of the a lot of Toyotas has this issue where the ring will rot out, it will rust, and you'll get the leak. And like I said, you'll have to pull down the gas tank, and that's why the dye helps to find, because you won't see the smoke. You won't see. It's very hard to see the actual smoke because it's so small, but you'll see a dye spot like around where the ring holding the fuel pump.
Yeah.
And that's where it's leaking from. The top of the tank's rust out.
Yeah.
Most common, like I said, believe it or not, it might drive you absolutely insane and you won't find anything, and it's because it's got a bad gas cap.
Oh, we changed gas caps several times.
Okay. So that's one of those things that will
In fact, my daughter
drive
got
you up the same, because a lot of times, like some of the cars don't have a test port, and they tell you to go in through the gas cap. So you have a cone. You have a cone that goes in there. You hook your smoke machine. You plug it all in. You're sitting there, and you can't find anything. And you're like, "This is driving me crazy. It's too small of a leak." I come back, blah blah blah, and then the whole time it was the gas cap, because then they put the gas cap on. The guy drives down the road. 2 drive cycles, it comes back on, and they're like, "Hey, dude, it's
It's kind of funny because that's kind of gotten to be like the urban legend or lore, where guys will say, "Oh, I got an evap leak. I'll just change the gas cap."
Yeah.
Like, well, dude, how do you know it's the gas cap? Well,
It's
that's
like,
usually what it is 9 out of 10 times. I'm like,
yeah, it's usually it's the first $15 you throw at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was diagnosed with my daughter's. She had a Dodge Stratus, which is really, it's a Mitsubishi in a Dodge body, and it had an evap small leak. So we couldn't find it. Smoked it, couldn't find it. Went for the purge valve because that's pretty common, and that wasn't it. Drive cycle it, same thing, comes back. Long story short, it ended up being the filler neck was in the side of the car by the rear wheel, and you could see the filler neck go down, around the inside of the wheel opening, and then it went into the big neoprene hose. And when we pulled that back, it was rusted right up to the point where the hose made it, and it was like beautiful metal, but there were little tiny pinholes right there. Mm-hmm. And how it escaped, I don't know, but that was a small leak, and that one took like three tries to find.
Yeah,
and then that solved it.
Yeah, those small pinhole. I mean, especially when they changed the tolerance of that. They lowered and changed. And like I said, it doesn't take much to have a leak. And
well, that's before we changed the gas cap, my daughter got mad at me because I said, "I don't think you know how to shut this thing." And I showed it to her. She got so mad, she wanted to punch me. In fact, she told me she wanted to punch me, and I said, "Well, let's do it anyways." And I cleared the code and said it's not going to come back on. And it took a little bit, and then it came back on. And I said, "Okay, we're going to change the gas cap." And then it seems like after changing the gas cap, it came on quicker. And I said, "Okay, we need to get a smoke machine and try and figure this out." And she goes, "See, it was not me putting it on, not turning it tight enough."
Yeah. And I hate to say this, but like you said, some of these aftermarket parts that you're putting on are pretty iffy in the first spot. So
yeah.
If you could find one sitting in a junkyard, actually the biggest, I mean, really, if you take a little bit of grease and put on the seal and put it back on and see,
I might
just
try
to
that. See what it does
on the grease on the seal on the O-ring, and but I mean the actual cap itself, they do sell. It's not most. I mean, a lot of guys don't buy it just because of the cost of the cap. But they do sell an adapter. That's what they have here at the state emissions. When you go in for your state emissions, they take the cap off and screw it onto a machine that actually will suck down pressure. It sucks it down, and see if it holds vacuum on it. If not, they'll fail your gas cap. But they do sell like your radiator pressure cap. They sell where you can check
you can test it.
You can test it, but most guys won't spend the money for it because they just say we just throw it. We'll throw a gas cap on it instead of testing it. Which I understand to a point, but when you're, for me, I would rather test it. I mean, I wouldn't want to replace it just because. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of funny about that, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's like just because it doesn't work, I just don't replace everything.
Yeah.
So.
That's why I got that smoke machine, so I can try and pinpoint where it's at.
Well, yeah, let us know how that works out.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to use it and check it out. I might start smoking everything.
Well, actually, it's one of our. I tell you, especially today on the newer cars, you should. I tell guys all the time. Especially, I love when they have an issue and they have a smoke machine sitting there, and they don't use it. They're just grasping at stuff anyway. But especially on these cars with turbos and superchargers and the tolerances that they have. With a regular smoke machine, it doesn't build enough pressure, so you can't use it. They actually have a different smoke machine for more pressure instead of what they have beforehand. But
yeah, I saw they even have one that you can hook into your air compressor to regulate the pressure or whatnot, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's like the one that I sell that one. They do have one. The one I have has a compressor built in. Like I said, because I use it inside of a car.
Yeah.
But I've told guys. I mean, I tell a lot of guys, hey man, I have this AC evaporator. Man, I really don't want. I mean, I think that's where the leak is, but I can't find a leak in the AC. And I said, well, smoke it.
Yeah.
Smoke test it. Pull the ends up before you pull the whole car apart. Because I've had guys pull a whole dash out and pull the whole car apart and put it in and still have a leak. Especially you get a Denali or a Suburban that have a dual AC system and trying to track down the lines are underneath. I said you take out the Freon. Dude, you can fill it. I mean, I got guys that just do it with regular shop air and they and they take spray 9 and find where the bubbles are. But I said, you're not going to hurt it with the smoke machine. And the smoke machine is nowhere near going to put the pressure that the AC system runs at. So you're not going to hurt anything. Yeah. And you pump it with the smoke, and if the smoke comes out, dude, that's where the leak is.
Yeah.
And it's cheap, it's easy. And it's not you sitting there all day like dreading that you got to tell this guy or try to sell a $2,000 repair and you're not even 100% sure if that's leaking or not. You're hoping that you pull that evaporator out and it's got a wet spot on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a smoke machine is it's a very useful tool. Used. I mean, right. I mean,
Yeah.
It's a great tool. It's a good investment. And like I said, you could do a lot with it. You get junkyard parts. You get a radiator. You don't know if it's good or not. Plug the ends off. Smoke it, dude.
Yeah.
If it's got a crack or a leak, you're going to see it.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's one reason why I have a smoke machine.
Oh, I agree. I'm excited about it. Like I said, I'm ready to start smoking everything after I fix my daughter's car.
Yeah.
I might even pull out.
He's gonna call P Diddy up and get some flavored baby oil. Just so he can start smoking all kinds of stuff.
Hey, I might pull out some steak tonight and start smoking it.
That's it, man.
Mineral oil flavored steak. Come
Oh,
on, don't complain. Eat it, enjoy it.
That's right. Yeah.
Well,
So-
fellas, I'm gonna jump ship. My eyes
All
are
right,
getting heavy.
Lewis.
Let me know if you guys need anything during the week because I'm free.
Yeah, right. I know it's nice.
That's awesome. When are you guys, what date are you guys looking to pull out?
We had some my son's wife's family had some tragic stuff happen. So
Sorry to hear that.
we're trying to float and see, you know, when they can get stuff together. My daughter-in-law's grandparents got killed in a car accident.
Oh,
Mm.
God.
Oh.
Terrible.
And so we're gonna, you know, and her mom was there too, and she's in the hospital and she's real bad shape.
Wow.
Man.
So all of the family was helping babysit their kids. So we're gonna step in and try to help out there. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, definitely.
just try to, you know. So we're not 100%, but most likely around January because the new baby will be here, and so after that we'll probably take off. No rush because I'm retired.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Congratulations on your retirement.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Mhm.
What day did it become official?
The 27th.
Oh, okay.
27th, end of the month, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, well, don't lay around and eat a bag of Cheetos every day, all right?
I got my chips right there. I already ate them.
That's it. See,
Yeah.
there
Wake
he
up,
goes.
eat a bag of chips.
Eat
Yeah.
a bag of Cheetos. Next week we'll see him on the air, and it'll be a little orange around the beard there.
Yeah.
Cheeto dust.
Cheeto dust.
Yeah, I don't know
All right,
what's
guys.
worse, a Cheeto dust or baby oil. Take it
Yeah.
easy.
Both are bad.
Both are bad.
Yeah.
Man, they are clowning that dude, man.
Oh, I tell you, man, it's insane, insane.
Yep. I think they need to light those kind of people on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
you mess with kids and stuff, man. It's just,
Right. Right.
Apparently, he's been trying to bail out, but they won't. They're not setting a bail. They'll get
Yeah.
to let him out.
Well, he
Oh,
messed
yeah.
with the wrong heads.
FBI. Yeah.
You know, you get that big, they let you get that big.
Yeah.
And then when you start acting up, then there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. They pulled that leash back.
Yep. All right, guys, have a good week, and I will see you guys next week.
All right, Lewis.
All right.
You too.
Sounds
Take
good.
care. Be safe.
We'll see
All
you
right,
later.
later. You too.
All right. I guess with that, we should sign off and then
47.
do our end run. So just like we signed on, we'll sign off saying this has been Playing in Traffic. Lewis Lee, of course, at the helm. Ray Guarino, Motormouth Radio, Matt Goldman, Brian, Keith, and Coach Isaac. And Jim was here, but he left earlier. So we'll be back next week. We'll talk about more fun stuff because there's going to be more fun stuff happening, I'm sure. At least I know in my life there will be. So, fellas, what do we say when it's time to go?
Well, it's time
Goodbye.
to go. Don't follow.
You can follow us on social media. You can follow us on YouTube and Facebook. But whatever you do, don't follow us home.
Got that right. All right. Till next week. We'll see you.
See ya.